there is no secret plan. Nicola Sturgeon, when she was First Minister, used to also play a similar game, suggesting that there was some, secret strategy. You'd try and ask her about it in interviews. Oh, I'm not telling you right now. The reality is they've had one plan for quite a long time. That plan is essentially, when the moment feels right, ask for Section 30 and pray that either somehow that moves the needle, which so far it never has, or try and parlay that into some kind of electoral bounce, which also has worn thin over the years. Hasn't really happened. Look, I don't know what's in John Swinney's mind. He's obviously a very capable politician. He's a canny operator. In terms of what his secret plan is, I suspect it's just win the election, ask for Section 30. I've struggled to conceive of what else he's got off his sleeve.
I mean, it was hinted, Dougie. It's not been said, it's not been confirmed by any means, but Manny McCallan, amongst others, hinted in interviews that there could be a legal route for them to take. And the argument here was, this isn't a legal podcast, but they argued a precedent had been created in 2011, which we mentioned earlier. But, I mean, that's not how the law works. Just because a political party does one thing in 1 year doesn't mean that they just get to do it the same again. And just Paul Hutchin, who obviously is on holiday at the moment, but we spoke to him about whether the Nationalists could organise their own referendum if they did win a majority, and Paul described it as, quote, utter mince. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, the first thing I want to say is this is like watching Baldric and Blackadder. I have a cunning plan. At least Baldric told us all what his cunning plans were. John Swinney's decided to. It's like the political equivalent of, I've got a girlfriend, but you wouldn't know her. She stays up at my granny's. I mean, there is no legal precedent for a second referendum. There might be a political one, but politics isn't. But politics isn't the law.
Yeah, it's a political precedent versus a legal one. It's an important distinction. Yeah,
this has already been kind of rubbished by constitutional experts, legal experts. I know John Swinney had his own legal planning lawyer, I think, who works for Donald Trump to set out the kind of legal position at SNP conference. I mean, I personally, I would love it if the SNP tried to run their own referendum, because I think it would turn them into a complete joke, in all honesty.
It would be boycotted, you would imagine.
Oh, well, I mean, it would be like, 95% of Scots vote, to leave the Union. It's just absolute nonsense. It's not going to happen. People, this is a big story right now because John Swinney wants it to be a big story because he wants to detract attention away from, the SNPs running a public services and whatnot. But eventually the spotlight's going to fall on that before this election. And people, we sit in here every week. People can vote however they want. I believe the vast majority of people in Scotland are going to go to the polls next year and they're going to deliver a verdict on the NHS. They're going to deliver a verdict on crime. They're going to deliver a verdict on all these, devolved areas in which the Scottish Government has power. Unfortunately, you don't need a big majority of people to win a majority at Parliament. As we've been discussing, there's probably a core of about 30% who are going to vote for the SNP regardless because they want to vote for Scottish independence. But really, this is just, we use the phrase red meat. John Swinney's trying to shore up his own position. It's worth pointing out that his independence plan passed at conference, it's not universally popular. There are some who feel that the SNP have become something of a devolutionist party, and maybe secretly they're quite happy with the status quo. They get to be in charge of Scotland, blame everything on Westminster, and take any crumbs of credit that they can. So I think it would be hilarious if there was some sort of unofficial referendum, and I'm honestly daring them to do it. It would be brilliant.
Can